And this is a story I just saw on Jim a few days ago. A very interesting story. A Chabad Chassid, his name was Professor Block. He passed away a few years ago, just not long ago. And he was a very interesting person. When they would make these big, what they call pagishas, they would make big gatherings in by the Rebbe. They would invite all these college students, and he would speak. He would speak all the time, and they would make a big farbringen, and he would drink and get drunk, and he would speak wonderfully, and dance with the people. It was a very, very talented and positive person. Anyway, so he told the story. He was a professor in philosophy. And so he was invited once to speak. Let me see. Let me get to this thing. I can't minimize one of those. Okay, good. He was a professor in philosophy. So maybe I can do this 1 second. No, you can't do it. Okay. And so he was invited to speak at some big, huge forum on philosophy. It seems he was a professor in the University of Quebec or something, anyway, in somewhere in Canada, Montreal. So Montreal's Quebec, right? Yeah. So he was invited. He was an important person. He was invited to speak. So he noticed that the time they wanted him to speak was on Shabbat. But he was already on the list of. So first of all, before he, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit. He got an invitation to do it, and he called up the Rebbe, and he asked the Rebbe if he should accept the invitation, and the Rebbe said, "Yes, you should." So good. So he said, "I accept." They were very happy. And then when he got the invitations, it was like a month, 2 months beforehand. He saw that he was supposed to speak on Shabbat, on Shabbat, and besides the fact that it was on Shabbat, he also had another place that he had to be on Shabbat, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't speak. But it's very difficult to call them up and to cancel. But if you'll call them up and they'll cancel it out. But they don't like that when you call up and you cancel out, speak, you want to be put into a different place, and they already had him put on the thing and they advertised it. So he called up the Rebbe's office and he told them that he accepted the offer, but they put him to speak on Shabbat, and he wants them to push it off to Friday in the morning. How should he do it? And the Rebbe didn't answer. And so we wrote again. The Rebbe didn't answer. So there came a month passed by, and the Rebbe didn't answer. He wrote another time. Another month went by. He can't figure out what's going on. And he's asking the Rebbe's secretaries, "Did you give the Rebbe my yes?" We don't know what to do. We can't. The Rebbe didn't answer. The Rebbe doesn't answer. Anyway, finally, he didn't know what he was supposed to do. He wanted to buy tickets, for Friday to fly. I think he had to be in New York for Shabbat. And here's the speech. So what he cannot go at all. What's he supposed to do? So suddenly got a phone call. The Rebbe answered. He said, "You should call them up and ask them now if they can move it to Friday in the morning." It was like 2 days before, 1 day before. And so he didn't get an answer from the Rebbe, so he didn't do anything. He didn't know what to do. So he got this answer. Now he got the answer. Previously, he didn't have the answer, so he didn't do anything. Now he has the answer. So he calls up the organizer of the whole thing, and he feels this person is really going to be angry. 2 days before, 1 day, you canceled your speech, and everyone. He calls up. He says, "Oh, hello, Professor Block. We're all very excited and waiting for you to hear your speech. A speech. He was going to speak on Plato or something. We're very excited." He said, "Listen, that's what I wanted to call you about. I want to move the speech to Friday in the morning. Is it possible?" So, as he's speaking, he sort of realizes the ridiculousness of the whole thing, because if it's all set up, what's he going to tell? He's going to have to call up the other guy that was on Friday, and he's going to move him to a different place. The other person also had his plans and everything. But nevertheless, the Rebbe said that that's what he should do. That's what he did. He said, I would like to know if I can move my speech to Friday morning. The other side, silence. Hello. Said, well, that's just the most amazing. The other person, the organizer of the whole thing was that he said, that is the most amazing thing. I can't believe it. I said, I'm just so amazed. What can't you believe? I said, well, the one who was supposed to speak on Friday in the morning came down with a terrible flu. And he just called me up and he said that he can't speak. He's not able to come. And it's Friday in the morning. It's a lot of people are going to be coming there and they're going to want to see him. And we don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. So I called up a few other people. No one else can change their plans. And I thought I would maybe call you up. I didn't know. And now you're calling me. So it ends up that if he would have called earlier and asked to change, it's a big doubt if they would have let him do it. But now they needed it. They appreciated it. It says the Rebbe somehow or other sensed that now exactly was the time to call up, right, and get to call up and get the thing changed. Right? And it did, and it worked out very fine. And on Shabbat, so they had time to tell everybody to, that on Shabbat there won't be the speech, there'll be so everything worked out all right. So somehow or other, the Rebbe arranged the whole entire business so that, I doubt that the Rebbe made the person sick, but somehow he knew that the person was going to be sick. And he arranged the whole thing, which seems to be a very simple thing. But on the other hand, we just finished learning that every detail of the world is very important. And that's a true manager of a place, is that he cares about every detail. Every detail is important to him. And so that's the idea of the Rebbe, and that's the idea of God, that every detail in the world is important. And that Mashiach, who is the Rebbe, will arrange every detail in the world that will see that everything fits and that every lacking will be filled, and every person that has a good quality will be able to fill it. Like communism said, each according to his need, and you'll give according to your ability, and you'll receive according to your need. And it's a wonderful saying, but Mashiach will make it actually happen. Have a good day with Mashiach. Now, God willing, tomorrow, Friday, 8:15, we'll continue learning the Devar Malchut.